This is the Mighty Manfred with your coolest conversation, and today I am chatting with John Faye, one half of John and Brittany. How you doing, John?
I'm doing great, Manfred. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. So, man, last year you had this coolest song in the world, "Start Sinning," right. And then it wound up landing at number 3 on our year-end listening poll. And then Stephen, he also had it as one of the top songs of last year. So that's all last year, and now.
That was so
the new coolest song in the world, Saint Valentine. What can you tell me about this baby?
Oh man, well it's the lead track off of our new EP, which is called Stories to Be Told, and it was actually one of the later songs that we wrote for it. Brittany had this lyric, and all of our songs start with some lyrics that she's written. And I just...
Well, wait a minute, which lyric was it?
I'm sorry?
Which lyric was it that you started with? Because there's this whole thing about suffering in there, and I was wondering who was making you suffer?
Right, exactly. Well, basically, all of her song lyrics, they kind of come in the form of like journal entries and poems, and I get to kind of, mine them for what I think the hooks are going to be, when we start writing the songs. And so there was this line, "You dig it when I suffer." And it just kind of seemed to, it really resonated with me because it's kind of like the way the two of us operate most of the time. Like we are best friends, but we also know how to push each other's buttons very well. And so I thought, this would be like a very fun line to sing every night.
Well, how did the Saint Valentine image come into that? What's up with pulling Saint Valentine into that?
Well, I think that the song in general is kind of about a relationship that has that element of knife twisting to it. Like we're not really capable of writing super happy love songs, but I think we're pretty observant of how real relationships in the world seem to go, and I think it kind of rings true for a lot of people that we've observed. That sometimes those relationships can they can turn ugly and they can turn a little sinister, and when you're so close with a person that what's going to hurt them. It's kind of a weird piece of power that you have over them.
Right. Well, so you're talking about relationships. What about the relationship between you two guys? How did you two meet and then start working together?
We met in December of 2008. I was in another band that I had been in for quite a while called Ike, and Brittany came to our show, and we had been talking online for quite a while before we actually met in person, and so we just kind of like hung out after that show, and we kind of became best friends right away, because like our first conversation after I told her that she couldn't smoke in my car, which she got very pissed about, was about music that we both loved in common, and it turned out that those points of commonality were the Beatles and the Ramones, and I was just kind of like floored by how knowledgeable she was about all that music, because it's clearly before her time. It's pretty much music that happened quite a while before she was born, but she was really, really into it and really knowledgeable about it. And so we basically, became really good friends after that. And she wasn't actually even a musician at that point, strangely enough.
Yeah, I was wondering, you mentioned you were playing this band Ike, and then she had gotten in contact with you. So she hadn't been playing with other musicians prior to collaborating with you, or not? I mean,
she didn't even, she got her first guitar about 6 months after we met. So we were just, we were friends, and we went to shows and hung out. And then basically she started showing me some poems that she was writing.
Yeah,
and I was really taken by her lyrical point of view of the world. It was very different from what I would do on my own. And So I actually, like, the first couple songs that, you could say we wrote together were basically just me putting music to some of her words. None of those songs really survive at this point. But, once she started playing the guitar, like within 6 months of that, we were, basically writing the songs that ended up on our first EP, which came out in 2011. And then
you had the album last year, right? The Start Sinning.
And then a year after that, year and a half after that, Start Sinning came out.
So when can we expect the new EP, The Stories to Be Told, to come out?
We're looking at like a late September, early October release for the entire EP, but we're going to have the single available, as soon as it becomes the coolest song.
Well, man, so you guys are from Philadelphia, and I've played shows with bands, and other musicians have told me that Philly is like the worst place to play.
Why are you? Why are people saying that?
They never come out in Philly. Is that true?
Well, Philadelphia has traditionally been a little bit of a tough town, a tough nut to crack, especially when you're traveling. But what we have found, since we've kind of been in the scene, is that, we've kind of like aligned ourselves with a really great community of musicians and of other bands from Philadelphia and South Jersey and even Delaware. And we all kind of support each other. And I actually run an open mic night at one of the bars in Philly. It's a pretty famous place called Legendary Dobbs. And basically, since doing that for the past 3 years, we've really been able to help a lot of out-of-town bands get seen, because, we can kind of like feature them, and we have a built-in crowd of very supportive and interested in musicians and just, fans that come out every week. And so we've kind of been able to build our own little thing. If you're a band and you're completely unknown and you're coming through any new town, I think it's tough to get people to pay attention. But
when you guys are out and touring, what are some of your favorite towns to play in?
Well, we've done really well in places like Atlanta, Georgia, for example. We really enjoy New York City. The last time we came up, we had 2 really great shows that Underground Garage was very instrumental in putting together. We did the Mercury and we did the Rock Shop in Brooklyn. And that was kind of like a bunch of Underground Garage bands all on one bill, because we played with Palmyra Delran and The Connection and the Jelly Brick.
She's got a Philadelphia connection herself, right?
She used to live. She used to live in this area, and when she comes back, she does great. She still has a really loyal audience down here.
Well, man, John, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me and have the coolest conversation.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you were certainly welcome. And we're going to start sending right now, and we start spinning the track. Coolest Conversations and Little Steven's Underground Garage.